There comes a moment in every life when the noise of the world begins to fade and the quiet inside starts to speak a soft voice that has always been there whispering through the chaos, telling you that you are more than what you have become, more than the fears that bind you and the doubts that break you, more than the labels and the expectations that others have placed upon your shoulders. And in that moment, when the noise becomes unbearable, when the masks you wear begin to crumble, you start to hear the truth that life was never about being perfect. It was always about being real, about learning to stand again and again, even when the weight of your own past tries to pull you back into the dark corners of your memory, where you keep all the versions of yourself that you no longer recognize, the moments you wish you could erase, the words you never said, the apologies you never made, the love you never gave, because you were too afraid to be seen, too afraid to be heard again. And so you built walls around your heart, thinking they would protect you, but they only kept you away from the light that was meant to heal you. And one day, you wake up and realize that the person you have been running from your whole life is yourself, and it is time to stop running, to stop pretending that you are fine. When your soul is tired of being silenced and your heart is aching for freedom, you begin to walk, not to arrive anywhere, but to remember where you started, to remember that every pain was a teacher, every loss a lesson, every failure a doorway to understanding something deeper about who you are and who you are becoming. And as you walk through the years of your own becoming, you start to understand that growth was never supposed to be beautiful. It was supposed to be honest, raw, messy, uncomfortable. It was supposed to strip away everything false until only the truth remained, the truth that you are enough, that you always were, that nothing you ever did could make you unworthy of love or forgiveness, and that the scars you carry are not signs of weakness but symbols of survival, proof that even in your darkest nights you kept breathing. Even when the world gave you 1,000 reasons to give up, you found one reason to keep going, and that reason was hope, fragile as a flame yet strong enough to outlast every storm. Sometimes you will forget the light you carry within you. Sometimes you will stumble, fall, break apart, and lose your way. You will question your purpose, your path, your worth. And in those moments when the darkness returns and the silence feels unbearable, remember that healing is not linear. It is a dance between falling apart and coming back together, between surrender and strength, between letting go and holding on. It is not about becoming someone new, but remembering the person you were before the world taught you to be afraid. And when you remember that, when you return to that quiet place inside, you will find peace. Not the kind of peace that means everything is perfect, but the kind that comes from knowing you can survive imperfection, that you can walk through fire and still rise softer, kinder, wiser. Life will keep testing you again and again. It will strip you of comfort, of certainty, of control, until you learn that happiness was never outside of you, that joy was not something to chase, but something to awaken, that love was not something to find, but something to remember, because it has always been inside of you, waiting patiently through the years of searching and longing and breaking, waiting for you to come home to yourself, to look into the mirror and finally say, I forgive you. I love you. I am proud of you for surviving, for trying, for never giving up, even when you were breaking inside. And in that moment, something shifts. The weight begins to lift. The wounds begin to close, not because someone else healed them, but because you finally gave yourself permission to. The world will still be loud and people will still misunderstand you. Some will judge. Some will leave. Some will not see your light. But that is not your burden to carry anymore. You are not here to please everyone. You are here to live truthfully, to walk your own path, to make peace with your own soul. And that is enough. You will start to see beauty in small things again. The way the morning sun touches your face, the way rain whispers against the window, the laughter of a stranger, the silence between heartbeats, and you will realize that life is not about chasing moments, but about being present in them. It is about breathing through them, letting them move through you like waves, knowing that even the darkest night eventually gives way to dawn, and that every ending carries within it the quiet promise of a beginning. You will outgrow people, places, versions of yourself that once felt like home, and it will hurt because growth always does. But you will also find new spaces, new connections, new strength you never knew you had. You will start to trust the process, to trust the waiting, to trust the timing of things that do not make sense yet. And one day, you will look back, not with regret, but with gratitude for every moment that broke you, because those were the moments that shaped you into the person you were always meant to be. You will stop asking why things happened the way they did and start understanding that everything was preparing you for something greater, that every detour, every delay, every disappointment was redirecting you toward alignment and peace. And when you finally arrive not at a destination, but at a state of being, you will see that the journey was never about finding something out there. It was always about coming home here into this stillness, this awareness, this love that does not need validation, that does not fear endings, because it knows that nothing real ever truly ends, it only transforms. And in that knowing, you will find freedom, the kind of freedom that does not depend on circumstance, but flows from acceptance, the freedom of forgiving yourself, the freedom of letting go of needing to control the narrative, the freedom of to the mystery of life, trusting that even when you do not know where the path is leading, it is still leading you somewhere beautiful, somewhere true. And as you walk that path, you'll carry a quiet light inside you, a light that others will feel even before you speak, because it is the light of someone who has met their own darkness and learned to love themselves anyway. There will be days when that light dims, when the old fears return, when the loneliness creeps back in, but this time you will know better. You will know that it is just a passing cloud, not the end of the sky. You will know how to sit with your pain without drowning in it, how to let your emotions flow without letting them define you. Will learn that strength is not about pretending to be okay. It is about being honest about your not okay and showing up anyway. You will learn that vulnerability is not weakness, it is courage, it is truth. It is the bridge that connects hearts and the world needs more of. There are more people who are willing to feel fully loved, deeply, and live authentically. And as you keep walking through the seasons of your soul, you will begin to see that everything is connected, that even the moments that felt meaningless were threads weaving the fabric of your becoming, that every goodbye was clearing space for a hello, that every loss was an invitation to rediscover what truly matters, that every ending was a beginning in disguise. And you will start to thank life not only for the joy, but for the pain, for the storms that cleansed you, for the fires that forged you, for the darkness that taught you how to see, because without them you would never have found your own light. And one day, perhaps when you least expect it, you will realize that you have become what you once needed. You will be the calm in your own storm, the home you'll always search for, the love you always wanted. And you will understand that you were never broken, you were unfolding, you were growing into yourself all along, and now you are here, fully present, fully alive, fully awake. And in that stillness you will smile, not because life is perfect, but because you are no longer afraid of its imperfection. And you will finally understand that peace was never somewhere to reach. It was something to remember, something that was always within you, waiting for you to return. And so you breathe, you let go, you forgive, you begin again and again and again, because that is what life is. A cycle of breaking and healing, losing and finding, falling and rising. And through it all, you learn that the most beautiful journey is not the one that takes you around the world, but the one that takes you within